Welcome back, friends. You, like me, we're human. We have what I like to refer to, and a lot of people do as well. I'm not unique. Lizard brain, and then a higher level processing brain. And what's really hard is it always feels like these two parts of our brain are at odds with each other. Your lizard brain, the brain that was created hundreds of millions of years ago through evolution, slowly over time to keep you safe, to keep you alive. That one is always at odds with your higher level thinking brain, your human brain. Your reptilian brain wants to keep you alive and wants to keep you safe. So what it does is it points out all the negativity and it latches onto it and makes sure that you see it. Make sure that you know that where the danger could be or is. Because if you're wrong in the false positive, you're fine. If you think something negative is happening or is around you or something dangerous is around you and you're wrong, you're still going to be safe. It's better to err on that side, because if you have a false negative and you think that there is nothing dangerous around you and you're wrong, you have a high likelihood of being dead or severely injured. So if you take that knowledge that is what that part of your brain is doing, your brainstem and slightly up it, your ancient reptilian brain that's trying to keep you alive, you take that information and you realize that this world is pretty damn safe. But it is also as distracting and pulls you in different directions and is trying to get you riled up. It's trying to invoke feelings in that lizard brain. It'll start to make sense why depression, anxiety, it runs so rampant through our populations. This world is designed by people who want to snag your attention. And if you're not careful, you can fall into these traps. I scroll social media like most people do. I try to limit my time to it and have cut my hours down tremendously. But when I'm scrolling, trying to look through geology things, cars, airplanes, I've started to see that there's a pattern. A pattern of I'll be looking at something that doesn't really invoke anything inside of me. I'm not feeling much other than trying to fill my curiosity, because that's what most of what my feed is. And then the algorithm will give me something that is meant to push me towards a certain emotion. I can tell because I've learned about it and paid attention to it. I can tell when it shows me something that gets me angry, or it's trying to get me angry. There's a lot of AI videos currently that are doing this, and they're hard to catch unless you use a lot of AI video production tools. But even some of the real ones, some that are real humans, and you'll go to their videos and you go to their comment section, and it's trying to push you one way or the other, and you go look at some of the commenters, and it's obviously a bot profile. Some are real people, but there's obviously a lot of bots on there. If you're aware that the internet is full of fake people, then you can look for this. And it's not the easiest to do, but if you're skeptical of what you see online, and if you know that people are trying to push an agenda, and when I say people, I don't mean people like you and I mean people that control the media, you'll be a little wary of how you're feeling. You can actually look inside. And that's part of what I wanted to talk about, was how to tell the difference between what's your reptilian brain saying and how you can actually use that to your advantage. Because when you learn to not manage your emotions, but when you learn to listen to them and look at them as signals, you can actually understand more of what's going on in the real world. Because though your emotions are real to you, they aren't necessarily connected with reality at face value. But if you take a step back and you look at what caused them, it can tell you a lot about what's going on in your environment. I think it's interesting that we're not taught this in school. You might have read a book or two about maybe managing your emotions, but in my opinion, managing your emotions is kind of a waste of time, the way it's described typically. It's to try to control what you're feeling. And I think that is too much effort wasted. I think what is a better situation is to feel, acknowledge, and move past your emotion. It's kind of like, I heard it described once as you're sitting at the edge of a river and you see leaves, dead leaves that have fallen into the river. They're going to pass by you, but you want the river clean. So what do? You start picking up the leaves. Well, now all you have is a handful of garbage that was in the river that would have passed you by and gone away. But you sat and you collected them all instead of acknowledging them. This is a metaphor for what our minds are like. Not every thought you've ever had is your own. I don't know if you've noticed this, but I don't necessarily know the next word that's going to come out of my mouth. I don't know the next thought that's going to pop into my head before it pops into my head, because there's so many different things that your brain is grabbing input from that when it exports it, sometimes it catches you off guard. Actually, most of the time it catches you off guard. You're not quite sure where it came from unless you start to dive into it. And it's pretty hard because you'll have your insecurities talk to you. You'll have your pride talk to you, your ego, your parents, your friends, your family, younger you, older you that you're trying to make proud. You'll start to realize that you have different experiences coming out as thoughts in your head. Not necessarily voices, but you can tell when you start to pay attention to what your brain is telling you and the thoughts that are running through your brain, your head, where they're coming from. That's what I like to do. When I was younger, I used to try to push things away and try to manage how I felt in the way of controlling what I felt. And it made me shut off some emotions that I deemed ineffective. All they really did was cause me problems. I tried to push away sadness and grief. I tried to push away anxiety and depression. And as I've got older, I've realized that I was turning away signals that were trying to tell me something. If you look at your emotions as signals, not only are they easier to understand, but you'll also learn about the inner world and the external world at a deeper level. Not in some woo-woo thing, but if you start to pay attention to your emotions and you put names to them and you put labels to them, you'll realize you'll take away the power that they have over you. You'll still feel them. You want to feel them. You don't want to have a feelingless emotion. A feelingless experience. You want to feel emotions because it gives beauty to the world. I was talking to someone and I described it as the universe is chaos. In science, we learn that chaos is the original state. Everything's chaotic. Madness is the normal. Everything moves towards being chaotic. And we think it's beautiful. The sun is caused by fusion that is so hot, and it's fusing these atoms together, and the atoms, I'm sure, are not having a great time because they're becoming pushed together in places they don't want to be, and it releases so much heat And every night and every morning, millions, if not billions, of people look at that sun and find it beautiful. It gives us life on this planet that is so beautiful. Niagara Falls is beautiful. The ocean is beautiful and is so destructive and so chaotic. If you look at your life and you want it to be smooth sailing always, if you don't expect any turbulent times, if you don't expect unexpected things to happen, you're going to be disappointed because unexpected things will arise. But you can view it in one of two ways. You can be disappointed in it, disappointed that life is not perfectly the way that you want it to be, that it is going to be gray area all the time, and it's not black and white, and you can be disappointed. Or you can see the beauty in the disorder. You can see the beauty in the pain and the hard times and the emotions that arise that you're not really wanting to have. I don't want to have all of my emotions at the time I'm having them. But when if I have a hard morning, I'm optimistic I can turn it around and have a decent day. But sometimes you just have bad days. But if I didn't have bad days, why would I necessarily care about the good ones? It is the contrast that gives beauty to this life. It really is. Because though comparison can be the thief of joy, it can also be something that allows you to realize joy, because you can compare your experience currently with a worse one in the past or someone else's experience. As you go deeper into your journey of trying to understand your emotions and your internal world, be patient with yourself. It's hard enough trying to do such a complicated thing as understand oneself. Be patient with yourself. We don't get mad at babies when they try to walk and they stumble and they fall immediately and they can barely stand. And they get back up again and they try again. We're there cheering the whole time, trying to help them. Try to have more of that mindset next time. And as you're going through and you maybe have bouts of insecurities arise, or failures, or you're feeling undetermined, and you're feeling discouraged that you might actually not know what's going on, and you're struggling, give yourself grace. Give yourself time to learn these skills. It takes a long time for monks who could dedicate their entire lives and get rid of all of the distractions of life to actually find that inner peace. And they'll still discuss how it is difficult to find a state of constant peace. It is possible, but difficult. It is difficult to learn to ride the tides of your inner world. So give yourself time and be patient with yourself. Show yourself some compassion, as though you love yourself, and I hope you do. And if you don't, please add that to your list of skills to accomplish. Loving yourself. Not blowing smoke up your ass. Telling yourself things that are not true about yourself. Don't make yourself believe that you're better than you are. But also don't do the opposite. Don't allow yourself to think you are worse than you are. Have a realistic view of yourself and show yourself love, which is patience, which is caring, which is telling you the hard truth so that you can be better. Good luck, my friends. I love you guys, and I'll see you later.